Overpass's Talent Advocate Manager. We are joined today by a special guest, one of our Overpass account executives, Michael McVeary, who will be talking about the very important topic of client expectations and perspectives to hopefully help you all on future contracts. So, Michael, I will turn it over to you to kind of introduce yourself, tell us about how you came to Overpass, how you came to the team, and anything else you think would be great for our contractors to know.
Yeah, great. Well, hello everyone, and thanks, Mia. Thanks for having me today. And let me just say, I want to say thank you to Mia. Mia is been a great resource for me as I came on to the Overpass team. And I want you guys all to know she's a fierce advocate of the contractor ecosystem. So she's just a great resource and a champion of you guys. So I want you to know that. My name is Michael. I work internally with the Overpass AE team. I think you're all very familiar with Dennis Hamilton. So I'm on Dennis's team, and our job is to help grow the client side so that we're finding more opportunities for all you folks out there on the contractor side of the fence. But it's a pleasure to be here. I'm really excited about engaging with you guys, and I know we'll do some Q&A later on so I can hear from you, let you guys know a little bit about what we're doing to grow the client side of the house, and talk to you guys. I talk to clients all day, so I'm excited to talk to the contractors. My Overpass journey started 2 years ago. So I actually started as a contractor from Connecticut, not far from where Mia is sitting in New York. But now I live in the Dominican Republic. So I live abroad, and I work remotely. So I guess what do they call it? Me, a nomad?
Yeah, digital nomad, expat, fun names.
Exactly. So that's what I love about Overpass too, is, we kind of practice what we preach here in terms of we're all contractors. And so I worked on for some different clients, and then I was lucky enough to have met Dennis and got on his team. So now I'm helping to grow the ecosystem. So happy to be here and happy to talk today about some client expectations. To try to and I think, Mia, our objective here today is to help the contractors understand what's important to clients, and help us all grow together.
Absolutely. I'm excited to get started.
All right, so just give me a minute while I share my screen. We put together a nice presentation for you today. How's it look, Mia? Good?
Looks perfect.
Awesome. Again, so welcome everyone. Today we're going to talk about client expectations, and really I want to frame this in terms of relationships. I mean, that's what's really important in life, in our personal lives and in our professional lives, is relationships. And to have a healthy relationship, you've got to understand what both components, or the multiple components of the relationship, expect, and what's important to them. So we'll talk about why it's important for you guys to understand what's important to our clients, and really a healthy relationship, a successful relationship, turns into a long-term relationship. So I think that's one of the major objectives today here, is understand the client so that we all have a long, healthy relationship. Communication is key in any successful relationship. You've got to communicate well, and communication just doesn't always mean talking. A big part of communication is listening, so that you understand what's important to the other side and what their sort of expectations are, and that'll lead to a happy environment. And we all desire to have that in our personal relationships or professional relationships. We want to be happy. We don't like a stressful environment. We don't like a stressful relationship, because that doesn't lead to a long-term relationship. And long-term relationships are important and fruitful for all of us. And also, understanding your client and having a successful relationship with your client and a long contract with your client maximizes your earning potential. But one thing that I hope that you get out of the conversation today is not just an hourly rate. I want a long contract and I want my hourly rate. I want you guys all to desire more than your hourly rate, and to focus on the potential of the commission side of it. When you start thinking like a business owner and maximizing your earning potential, business owners, we'll talk about that, think about their revenue and their profit and how to grow that. I want you guys to do that too and be aligned with your clients. That's really where the relationship becomes powerful, is when you guys are aligned together. So today we're going to talk, and I'm going to frame our conversation around what's important from the client's perspective, so that you guys have a good understanding going into these relationships, and really can start thinking, put yourself in their shoes and start thinking in terms of what's important to them. Now, don't make assumptions on what's important to them too. Again, in any healthy relationship, there's a dialogue, and you should have a dialogue with your client and ask them questions about what's important to them as well. But typical client, business owner, or executive or sales leader wants to grow their business. And we'll talk about what that means. Some people have different definitions of growing their business, but typically, businesses need to be growing. You probably heard the old adage, if you're not growing, you're shrinking. What's also important to business owners and managers is their brands and brand recognition, and getting that brand out there. Brands are so important. You all are familiar with brands. Some of you have favorite brands, some of you have less favorite brands, but something like Apple or Coca-Cola is a well-established brand, and that was intentional. I mean, businesses invest, probably their biggest budget is on advertising, which is sort of an old school way to get your brand out there with a new digital marketing. But regardless, businesses spending a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of effort on their brand. So it's very important to business owners and to executives and to sales managers in a well-aligned organization. Quick results. We all want instant gratification. It's important to do things the right way and build the right foundation. But in business, you got to be moving. You heard about the term movers and shakers, but people that are in business are successful. They don't over analyze things. They get to market and they want to move quickly. So keep that in mind. They don't want headaches. They don't want headaches from their customers. They don't want headaches from their internal employees. And that's not just to say because they don't want a headache, because they don't want to deal with it, but happy customers, happy employees grow the business. They're in it to make money. We're not dealing, well, in some cases we may be dealing with nonprofits, but typically we're dealing with businesses, and the objective is to make money and to be profitable so that we can stay in business and give opportunities to employees and customers. But you want to keep in mind that profitability is important. And as you go about your daily life inside of a contract, think about the profitability of the client and of the contract. And that's going to sustain your growth. Also, we'll talk about the final business goals. All great business owners and business people have an end game, so to speak, in mind. And we'll talk a little bit more about that so you can be in tune to that, and we'll talk through it. All right. I wanted to put this potential client structure up here. I think you guys have all seen this before, but I want you to think about it and kind of in your mind be thinking about the way that typical, and I'll frame this as sort of a sales, you may not work on a sales contract, maybe more marketing, but they're closely aligned. But a typical sales organization has a director, and it may be spread out in terms of marketing, sales, and then the support roles. And marketing is getting the brand out, and we talked about digital marketing and digital advertising, but more brand awareness in marketing. So we'll call it passive, although there's a lot of energy that goes into it. And then you've got the sales side of the house, which is really the activity, the drivers, the people who are speaking with the prospects each day and driving those sales to completion and to close. So some of you may have come into contracts with far less organizational roles, but I want you to think that all businesses are growing. And when you're in on the ground level, maybe you're reporting up into a director and you are the sales team, that's a lot of potential for you to grow. So Be excited about coming into larger organizations and smaller organizations. There's a lot of potential, a lot of upside coming into a smaller client. So getting back into what's important for businesses is growing their business. It's important that they want to reach their targets. Typically, those are around revenue. And historically, businesses have talked about my annual revenue. And you may have heard $30 million in annual revenue. And that's been sort of a key metric in business. And it still is, and it's still very important. But the world is changing, and the internet has really changed the world in a lot of business models. And we see this with a lot of the clients that we talk to, where it's software and they're selling software as a service, which is, it isn't just, X number of dollars to buy the software and they're done. No, it's a reoccurring revenue stream, and it's a monthly reoccurring revenue stream. And that's becoming more and more important to business owners. So when you're involved in a contract, understand and ask, what are your targets? What are your revenue targets? And dig into that a little bit so you understand the business model. Obviously, net profit is an important topic for businesses. Revenue is great, and investors look at revenue, look at top line revenue, but you've got to balance the revenue against your costs of the business and the cost of generating sales to make sure that the business is profitable. Because if you're generating $10 billion in revenue, but you're spending $10 billion, your revenue obviously is zero, and you all get the example of that take it out to the ridiculous, right? But that's why it's important, and they've got to control and understand their cost side of the house. And you can help with that too. You can help them be more profitable by being efficient in your time and your activities to drive sales, because they look at the sales organization as a balance between the revenue and the cost that comes in. So understand that and ask for and take responsibility for some of your development, and ask your business owner or the person that you report to, how does it work? How is your profit margin structured? What role do I play in that? And take sort of some of that responsibility. You'll be developing a great relationship with your business owner when you're asking those questions, because you're going to demonstrate to them that you care about their business. And they have different reasons. We talk about the end game, which I'll talk about a little bit more, but great business owners are looking into the future, and they have an idea of what they want to accomplish with their business. Do I want to grow this business and sell it? Do I want to grow this business so I can raise more capital from investors? Do I want to grow this business so that I can give it to my children, sell it to somebody else who will privately own it and grow it? Or do I want to take it public? IPO, initial public offering. Do I want to go to Wall Street and become a stock organization? So business owners have end games in mind. Ask your client what their end game is. So we talked about enhancing the brand and brand recognition. And it's so critically important to have a good brand. And this is important to business owners. They spend a lot of time on that, a lot of money on advertising to grow their brand. Today, again, in the digital world, a lot of it's digital marketing, but it's also you represent their brand. If you're on the front line calling their prospects or taking care of their customers, you're touching their customers and their prospects every day. So it's important that you take it upon yourself to know the product and the service inside and out, and know who you're selling to, know who the product is designed for. Know what the messaging is so that you are doing your part to stay consistent in your brand. And a healthy brand is always a brand that presents a positive, friendly image, that is always consistent and understands what you can do and what you can't do, and is always honest about that. And having integrity is important to the brand, because if a brand is tarnished of not having integrity, it's very difficult for the business to recover. So ensure that you're aligned to their brand, and that you're always doing the right thing. And I know you all understand what the right thing is, and that's honesty and understanding again what you can and what you can't do, and living up to that. And we're going to have a question and answer session later, and if I don't know the answer to a question, I'm always going to tell you that I don't know that, but I will find out and come back to you and get you an answer. And that's developing a great relationship. So always know what your brand can do, what your product can do, and stay true to that. And if you don't know, it's okay to say that, but follow up with your customer or your prospect with an honest answer. Really critically important. And your brand managers, your clients will love you for it. Let's see here. Okay, quick results. Business owners need to be quick. Business owners need to plan and be thoughtful and hire employees. But if business owners aren't nimble and quick to market, their competition is going to grab the potential revenue that's left on the table. So it's really important to move quickly. So a business owner is thinking, how do I get to market quickly? How do I hire employees? How do I hire my go-to-market teams, which is your BDRs and SDRs and full cycle sales folks? They use call centers, third-party call centers, and that's been a big way for companies historically to go to market quickly. I can hire a call center that's all set up. A lot of you probably have worked in call centers. Overpass, we're an alternative to a call center. I think we're not, we're a unique marketplace where you guys work directly for the client. It's not that sort of third party separation. You're talking to the client every day. Hopefully you're talking to the client every day. And there's that, you're immersed in their product and their environment, and that's valuable to them versus them losing sort of that control to a third party call center. They can hire employees directly, but there's a lot of time that goes into hiring employees. I think the statistic is something like 37 days for a company to hire a sales employee. Our benefit, what we offer them is you guys, excellent talent sitting on our platform, pre-approved by a great team that Mia runs. So you guys are there, and you guys see this from time to time where you're into a contract, you're interviewing and into a contract in a couple of days. And that's really valuable. We're able to move quickly for our clients. So understand that, recruitment agencies have been expensive for prospective clients. So again, we're an alternative to that, where we take out that loss of control of a third-party call center with those huge expenses in a recruitment agency, and provide an amazing remote workforce and a distributed model that they can interview and hire talent quickly. And when you guys get in on the ground floor with our clients, you become part of growing that workforce too. I think some of you, I came on in my first contract, I worked on it, and then I started interviewing contractors. So I was a contractor interviewing contractors to help my client grow their business. So know that there's a career pathing for you there, and that's why I love this model. I think it's so powerful and empowering for you guys in that remote workforce, and all of us. Again, I speak as a contractor. We talked about headaches. Nobody likes a headache. And in a good relationship, the less headaches are better. So employers, clients want to make it painless for their employees, you guys, your remote staff, but also the customers as well. So it's important what we do for them and help them go to market quickly. And then you can help them go to market even more quickly by helping to hire talent. You're going to learn their business. A lot of times too, I've seen great relationships with our clients where contractors come on board and they actually have a lot more experience in sales than the business owner. The business owner is overarching, visionary, forward-looking, and a lot of times they don't have a sales process ironed out or documented. And you guys come in and you can help them build their script and build their flow and an efficient sales process. Because I think that's my favorite bullet on this slide is an efficient sales process, because I think if you have that in place for the business, it's effortless for the, it's not effortless, nothing is ever effortless, but it's as frictionless as possible for the employees and for the customers. Happy employees, happy customers, helps business owners grow their business and achieve all those things that we talked about. Make more money, profitability. Sometimes this seems cold to people, but a business needs to be profitable in order to make money. And I know a lot of you folks are salespeople, and you're driven by that, and that's a good thing. I mean, we're all trying to make a better life for our families and invest in our families, and we should be proud about that. Um, and I want you guys to start to think like business owners too, and ask questions to your clients about it. There's math and accounting that goes into this. There's a cost to acquiring sales costs. There's a labor cost. Our clients are making an investment in you guys when they hire you and in their business, and there's a cost to that. So there's got to be a balance. And I think it's powerful when you guys know that sales acquisition cost and how it's calculated, and the product cost, and start to see that in terms of profitability. I think it opens your eyes. And when you're thinking like a business owner and having business owner type conversations with your clients, they see you as a value partner with a strong relationship too. It's just some things to think about in terms of profitability. You've got to understand the marketplace and the competition, and how you stack up against different products or services, and how those products are priced inside of the market. Also, what's your cost on your products, and number of units that you need to sell. So, if my profit margin is $10 per unit, I know that I need to sell 1,000 units per month to offset my sales acquisition costs, which is sales labor and commissions, to be profitable. So understand that. And clients aren't typically working on these huge profit margins. Competition is tough, and it's in the marketplace today is very competitive. So they have to be usually operating on small margins. So it's important to be efficient for them, and to understand that as well. So profitability is key and important. And reaching their final business goals. I talked about this a little bit at the intro, but great business owners have what we call an exit strategy. And that doesn't mean they're looking to get out of their business, but they have a thoughtful, full plan. And what is the plan for that? Legacy company. Have I started this business so that I can grow this business and generate income for my family, and then leave it to my 2 sons or my 2 daughters, or my son and my daughter, or whoever that may be? Or is my end game, I'm going to grow this company so that I can sell it and then go do something else, or whatever that may be? But that's a plan that business owners have. Or am I looking to be bought out? Am I looking for sort of a merger and acquisition? Am I positioning myself to eat into some other larger organization's market, so that then I become attractive for an acquisition from them? Or am I growing this business to be offered on the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ, or whatever that public offering vehicle may be? And that's another sort of strategy. Or is it build to sell, which is very similar to a sale, but again, it's private money. So I'm investing my own private money into this, and my end game is to sell it off, maybe through a merger, or looking for a next round of private money. Again, ask these questions of your clients to understand their business, and take it upon yourself to get a full view of what their business goals are. Now, in conclusion, just wanted to leave you with some thoughts on how you can really position yourself as a valued contractor inside a contract to be able to grow your career. So we say be an adult, and that just means and I'm going to talk about this a little bit more too, is communicate. And things go wrong in our lives. We all have something that comes up, but just communicate as soon as possible. If you've got a doctor appointment that you have to go to, or your son got sick, or your mom got sick, whatever it is, just communicate when people understand things go wrong. But when it's the lack of communication and expectations, which frustrates people and damages relationships. Take the time to invest in yourself. So know your customer, know their products, know their services, be accountable for your growth. And don't just wait to be developed or to be coached, but take that initiative to ask the questions or to go out and do the research. With the internet now, you can find anything on any company out there just about. So take that time to go the extra mile and understand the business and the market. Have integrity. This is so important for who you are and the pride of your name and the name that was given to you by your family. But always be honest, always do what you say, follow up, and never say something that you don't, that's not a verifiable fact in your mind. It's okay to say I don't know and I'll get back to you, but have integrity and be honest. Understand that company vision. Business owners are usually visionaries and they have a long-term vision for the business. So ask them, say, tell me about your vision for the business. What's your mission? How can I help you with that vision? Over communicate. You can never, in my career, I've never been told I'm communicating too much. And I don't think you ever can. Set expectations and communicate, and that's all going to lead to a great positive relationship. This is one of Dennis's favorites, pretender or contender. And what does that mean? Well, do you want to come and log in for an hourly rate and make your hourly rate? Or do you want to invest in yourself and your family and your future and become a real player and understand that business and start looking at yourself as a business owner, an independent business owner inside the organization, driving your commissions to increase your bottom line and grow your revenue? Do that, and I think you'll see your income grow exponentially. And I wish you guys all the best. And it's really been great for me to come in and talk. Now I feel like I've been sitting in a room talking to myself, so I'm really excited to get some questions and get some dialogue going here now.
Michael, thank you so much. That was incredibly informative. And you definitely weren't talking to yourself. We had some people chat in while you were speaking. So thank you again for all of that insight on the client side, since you are speaking with them a lot. Contractors, as usual, feel free to pop your question into the chat. You can pop it into the Q&A section, or you can raise your hand and ask your question out loud. I know Michael presented a lot of really good information, so I'll give everyone a couple of minutes to digest and ask any questions, and we can go from there. While we're waiting on that, Michael, I had a question just as you were speaking about certain contractors who maybe come in with more insider skills in developing the sales process or like a script. How would you suggest contractors should go about bringing up different ideas to the client? Because it's kind of an interesting relationship because they're being paid, but they also want to offer ideas. So how would you suggest they go about communicating that if they feel that there's a process that can be improved, or if they sense that there's more that they can do on the sales side?
Mia, that's an amazing question. And I think what I probably need to tweak this presentation a little bit too and talk about that, because why that's such a great question is because what I hear from clients a lot is that we need and expect and want to get feedback from the front lines, let's call it, from the customer facing group. That's critically important to their business. They crave that. So if they're not asking for that, I think, again, communication, I think a contractor should raise their hand and say, I've got an idea. And don't be shy about it. They're going to love to hear ideas about their business, but raise your hand. And I think in any great relationship, there's a two-way street of communication going on. And I would hope in every contract and every client out there has open channels of communication, whether that's a daily, I know Dennis has daily, call them scrums in the morning, where he asks us about what's going on in our world. And so that open line of communication, and sometimes a daily meeting is a lot for folks, but at least a weekly meeting. So ask for those engagements. Say, I'm talking to a lot of your prospects and a lot of your clients. let's get together on a weekly basis and just have a brainstorming session, and I'll document some of the things that I hear and what I see and things that I think can be improved. When I say this to a customer or a prospect, it seems to resonate. When I say this to a prospect, they seem to bristle at it. That's key business intelligence that, if you're raising your hand and bringing that to your clients, they're going to really value that and see you as a valued partner.
This is a question coming from Leslie Michael. He asks, do you believe establishing a relationship with the client can help you close the deal? If we want more context, I can ask Leslie to ask his question out loud, if that's helpful.
Well, yes.
Okay. Let me see. Leslie, I'm going to let you speak. So if you can go ahead and unmute, you can go ahead and ask your question to Michael directly, just so we get the full context.
I think I know, but I don't want to assume, because I wouldn't be developing a good relationship with Leslie.
Yeah, in terms of, it depends on the company, like a small business in a sense. If you have that relationship, you have someone that line, you can close this deal. But to reinforce it, if you have the owner who you can contact and say, hey, or transfer the call to, hey, is this someone you can can use that person in a sense to validate your credibility and also sell that product?
Yeah, great question. And absolutely, you should look at every interaction as a chance to build a relationship. And even if it's just a short interaction on the phone, but you can take that time to develop a relationship and do that by asking questions. Ask questions on what's important to them, and listen to understand that and develop that relationship. But absolutely, I think and I think the higher up you go in the organization, and if you have that access, yeah, absolutely leverage that to close the sale. Absolutely.
Thanks. All right. There's another question, Michael, here, and that is, in your opinion, from the clients that you're seeing, how many of them do allow for upward mobility for their contractors? Like maybe the contractor starts at a certain level and then they, want to increase their responsibilities or rise up in the organization. Like how viable is that? And are you seeing that happen with clients?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm an AE on Dennis's team, and there's 11 of us now. The team just grew. And what our jobs are is to find actively growing organizations. So companies that are actively hiring, companies that are series funded, and that means they are getting investments from investors. And when a company gets money from an investor, they're growing. How does a company grow? They go out and hire sales folks to generate revenue. So the whole strategy, the Overpass strategy, is that we are looking for rapidly growing, and we're prospecting to rapidly growing clients. So the potential is really exponential. And as you get into these contracts, the greatest way that you can grow is to utilize some of the points that we talked about today to develop a relationship with your, we'll call it upline or business owner, to understand their business, to understand how to make them profitable, to align yourself with them, and to help the business grow. And when you're doing well, the business is growing. But great question. And yeah, our ideal customer, our ideal company profile is a rapidly growing company.
Thank you. We have another question that's related more to getting started with a client. We have a contract named Gigi who has been looking to get on a contract for about 6 months now. He had an interview The client unfortunately didn't follow up. So I think it could be helpful to hear advice from both sides, Michael. So from the TA side, Gigi, I would say, go through all of those profile checklist requirements that we've been talking about for a long time. Dennis did a video on it. It's on YouTube. Make sure that everything on your profile is in tip-top shape. The other thing I would say is, because you've made the effort to be here, shown an interest, we'd be happy to share your profile with the team, so that they can be looking out for opportunities for you. And I think from the TA side, those are probably my two biggest suggestions. But Michael, I don't know from the client side, if we have had cases of, maybe the client didn't follow up, if there's something the contractor can do on their end, or just any other more general advice you have.
Sure. And Gigi, thanks for the question. I think and keep the faith, opportunities will come. And as you do get those opportunities that come through in an interview, take the time to, again, ask some questions up front. I know a lot of what our job is to do is to understand the client's business as an AE. So if an AE reaches out to you, ask them some questions. And what I typically like to do is send out the company's website and a little bit about the position as well. Something that you can do is do some research on the company, understand their business model, understand what they do, and go in there and ask some questions of them about their business as well. Questions are always good. It's a great relationship building, because you want to build that relationship. And then you want to match your experience and your abilities with what the company is trying to accomplish, what the company is trying to sell, the product or their service. I think, it's very impressive when we have a contractor who comes in and has really done their homework and is able to articulate that and sell, to the point before, sell the business owner or the decision maker and close them on the call. Do you see how my abilities can help your business? You're asking a closing question there. It shows you've done research on their business, but it shows you're a closer as well, if you're going for a sales position. So demonstrate your skills on the call. A great salesperson asks questions, understands, and then asks trial closing questions.
Thank you. And it's funny, Dennis just had that presentation not too long ago. So you're kind of tying it all together for us. Thank you. Awesome. Great questions and great conversation. I'm going to leave another couple minutes for any other last questions. Again, if no one has any, we can leave a bit early, but I want to make sure everyone has the opportunity to ask questions. Again, it doesn't need to be about what Michael presented today. If you just have any general questions about the process, interviewing, your profile, anything just about Overpass, we're happy to answer them. This is the forum to get all those questions answered. So I'll give everyone a couple more minutes. And if we don't have anything else, then we can say goodbye for today and I will discuss next steps. I'll give everyone just a bit. I know we're onboarding new AEs, Michael. How has that been going? Are you kind of seeing and becoming hopeful for like a new strategy in regards to clients and bringing new people on board to Overpass?
Yeah, 4 new AEs just started this week, so they're going through their onboarding to Dennis's team. But there's been a lot of investment, and great question, Mia, and I think it's great for the contractors to hear this. But there's been a lot of investment in Overpass's outreach to potential clients. Mia's team, I think, has done a great job. I think we've got somewhere around 5,000 contractors on the platform, which is amazing.
Yes.
And our goal is to get all of you guys work and keep all of you guys busy. And it's just a lot of different channels. We've got BDR representatives that are actively scouring LinkedIn for companies who are posting jobs, and Indeed and other areas, and bringing those in. And then we're getting on the phone with them to talk about all the great contractors that we have. And there's affiliate programs where we're partnering with sales consultants who have relationships with companies out there to bring them in to start enjoying the benefits of Overpass. So there's 3 or 4 really strong sales channels that are going on right now to grow this company. And I'm very excited about where we're going and what we're doing. I think Overpass is a revolutionary force in the market. Things have gone digital, and I think we're at the forefront. We're ahead of the curve. So we're leading the pack. And I anticipate a lot of companies coming in, joining on, and going in that direction.
Amazing. Well, I think that's the perfect note to end on. For everyone who came, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. Michael, thank you again. It was so lovely to have you on for today. Next week, everyone, I'll come up with something like that. Actually, they're kind of 2 last thoughts because Conrad just wrote in. So Conrad, I'll address your point in just a second. But for next week, I know that we've been having a lot of different educational sessions about different aspects of sales and Overpass in the business. But next week, Dennis will be back, and it'll basically be like an open forum where you can just come and ask him questions. So there won't be a real presentation, but it's just a space for you all to get any other questions answered that you feel that you need help with. Dennis is the person. And also I will be there as the person to help answer those questions. And then Conrad asks if it's possible we can come up with something like Slack, where we can just interact freely with each other and learn from each other on, what we're expressed. Conrad, that's actually a really good idea. I think we can maybe brainstorm ideas for the Overpass team about what that potentially could look like. I know we are coming up with ideas on having contractors interact more via Facebook or other avenues, but we are going to try to provide more opportunities for you all to connect more as a community instead of being siloed on the platform or with your clients. So it's definitely something we're thinking about, and thank you so much for that suggestion. And we got more people writing stuff. Oh, you're welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. And Jamark, I will read his quote for us, Michael. I think it's a really lovely point to end on. He says, I just want to say thank you to Overpass. I've been a contractor on the platform since 2020, and I'm proud to say that Overpass is the best. So on that note, I will leave you all to enjoy the rest of your days. Thank you all again, and we'll talk soon. Have a good one, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Mia. Thanks, everyone.